Good morning. My name is Donald Gist, and I'm the chairman of the board for the North Columbia Business Association. And on behalf of the North Columbia Business Association and all of our board members and members of the North Columbia Business Association, we want to welcome you all here this morning. As we all know, this is Small Business Week, and we're so proud of the fact that when we look at the North Columbia Business District and the North Columbia community, to include the neighborhoods in the North Columbia community, and all of the leaders and presidents and officers of those neighborhood associations, it's wonderful to see how we are progressing and moving forward in this area of the city with respect to making progress. As we all know, we've got a new development going on over on the Bull Street area, which is not too far from here. We've got a lot of other revitalization of businesses in this area. I have my law firm in this area, and we're just blessed to have so many businesses. The North Columbia Business Association is comprised of about 91 businesses in this area, and those businesses expand from being a small one-person business all the way up to being major corporations. Small Business Week, as we know in this country, small businesses employ the majority of the citizens in this country, and in this state, the majority of the people who work in this wonderful state of South Carolina, they too also work for small businesses. We're very pleased to have each and every one of you here. I wish I could be in a position of just introducing all of the neighborhood presidents, but you know who you are, and you know how well you work with us in the North Columbia business sector. We want to thank you, though, for what you do every day in terms of helping us to promote industry and to promote growth in the North Columbia area. We want to thank you also from the standpoint of what you do to help us fight crime along with the city of Columbia. We're very appreciative, too, of all of the persons who have given us an opportunity to stand here this morning, and particularly Mr. Chris Bossack, who owns this facility here. We want to thank him for allowing us to be here and to be able to use this wonderful facility. And I ask that you tour this facility today to be able to get an opportunity to see what a business is doing. We have some wonderful announcements that's going to be made here today. We have some wonderful initiatives that's going to be going on. And I will say this, no matter where you look in the state of South Carolina, or really even in this country, you will not find businesses, small businesses, and the community interlinked in such a manner where they basically are working together. I want to thank the City of Columbia for their participation, and at this time I would like to introduce our members of the City of Columbia who are present this morning. Some could not be here today, but we want to thank them for being here. Mr. Isaac Devine could not be here today because, like myself, she's a lawyer. She's got some other commitments in her office. But at this time I want to introduce the mayor of the City of Columbia, and we're going to follow Sabrina's program here. He will not get to speak initially, but we want to introduce the councilman from this district, and the councilman is Councilman, well, first of all, Mayor Steve Benjamin is here, and we want to thank him for being here. I got to follow the priority orders here, okay? And second of all, I want to thank Councilman Cameron Runyon for being here. And Cameron is doing what he needs to do to try to help move this city forward, and we're very appreciative of Cameron. And also at this point, I want to turn it over to the sitting district councilman for this area, Mr. Sam Davis, and I'll be back. Thank you.
Good morning. I don't know what else to say. I think Donald has capsulized everything that this event is all about. But let me say this, I do have a deep-seated appreciation for the North Columbia Business Association. You know that we have linked arms in making things happen in spite of. This corridor and the others are basically the next frontier for development in the city of Columbia. The business behind me, Barzak's building, Carolina Import, is an example of coming together and making something happen that may have just been a spot in the road years ago. Carolina Import came from one area of the city to North Columbia. Okay, that's what it's all about. That is the attraction. And the commitment is that anybody who wants to come to North Columbia to start a business, relocate their business, then you have my and North Columbia Business Association's full support. We're committed to doing whatever it takes to help you open your doors. That's what commitment to development is all about. This is also a partnership with the neighborhoods that are contiguous to the areas where we want to attract businesses. It's a hand in glove operation. One needs the other. And again, the commitment is to attract businesses that are going to also bring people who don't live here into this area. The crime rate is down. That's a non-starter for discussion. New families are moving in, and the commitment of the leadership is unquestionable. So our commitment is to, first of all, say to you, we appreciate your partnership. We appreciate your willingness to help in the effort, because this is the next frontier for development in this great capital city. So for those of you who are here for the first time, not that many, we welcome you, we thank you, and we know you will be back. Thank you.
Thank you.
And at this time, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome and to ask our mayor, who's a visionary, who's done a tremendous job in terms of bringing progress and leadership along with the city council to Columbia, South Carolina, none other than the Honorable Stephen K. Benjamin.
Thank you. I want to thank Donald for reading that introduction just like I wrote it. I appreciate that. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you here this morning to be with the North Columbia Business Association, and we often laugh at City Council, quite frankly, about the pace at which this great organization has gotten its legs and is making a significant difference in the development of this community. I mean, NCBA hit the ground running, and working with business leaders, it's rare that you'll have a group of business people here in Mrs. Bradley's great business. Chris's is a gorgeous building. Sitting here, business leaders sitting here with probably the most talented and sharpest group of neighborhood leaders, all with our civic leaders, trying to figure out ways in which we can rapidly continue to develop this great city in which we live. Columbia is going through an incredible change. There's $1.2 billion in capital investment in downtown over the last 4 years. Violent crime down 33%, unemployment down over 40%. People working together to move this community forward. That's what it takes. And we're so proud to be here with each and every one of you to kick off Small Business Week, recognizing that most Americans work in small businesses, that the incredible opportunities that we want to make sure every family has in Columbia, South Carolina, will be advanced by development of a city where capital investment is attracted, where it's nurtured, and it will grow. The best social program that we can have in this city is a job, helping people earn their own keep. And we understand that you do that. You do that by incentivizing and creating an environment where small businesses can prosper. And our job, many of you know that Donald's my father-in-law. He is They say behind every good man is a better woman. I also have a father-in-law and mother-in-law and everyone else supporting me, and I'm so thankful of that. But our job, my job, Sam Davis's job, and I want to thank Sam so much for his constant advocacy and stewardship of North Columbia in District 1. Councilman Runyon's job. Our job is to make sure not just that our families do well, because I don't worry much about Bethany and Jordan Grace Benjamin. Those girls are going to be all right, whether their parents or their grandparents provide for them. Our job is to make sure that every single child in the city has the same opportunities that my children have. That's every child, regardless of background, race, gender, regardless of which zip code they're born in. It's our job to make sure that they have an opportunity to do the great things. That starts by making sure we have great, well-paying jobs, by supporting small businesses in Columbia, South Carolina. So thank you so much for being out here. Thank you for your advocacy. We're looking forward to a fantastic week together. God bless you.
At this time, I also want to introduce a young man that's been making his own footprints and imprint with respect to the City of Columbia and leadership on City Council. Cameron Runyon has been doing an outstanding job in terms of trying to make sure that we do what we've got to do in terms of accountability in the city. He's a great partner with Sam, with Steve, and with the other members of council, and we're just so pleased that Cameron is here this morning. And you know, one of the aspects of that is that when you see city council persons who are not just coming simply because of the fact that they're in a district, but coming because they're concerned about the city and concerned about the business and the business development in the city, then that says a lot. At this time, I want to introduce Councilman Cameron Runyon for some remarks.
Good morning. Thank you all for the opportunity to be here. I will be very brief, but I do want to echo one thing that the mayor said. He said that most businesses in America are small businesses, and I believe it's about 80% roughly of the businesses in this country are the engines that employ America. You are the engine that employs America, that employs South Carolina, and that employs Columbia. So we thank you for what you do. We thank you for your entrepreneurial leadership, and it is just a real pleasure to be your representative, one of your two representatives at large on Columbia City Council. And even though I do represent the entire city, 13 years ago as a bachelor, I bought a home in North Columbia, and a few years later was married and began a family in North Columbia. And then a few years after that, had our first daughter in North Columbia, and a few years after that had our second daughter in North Columbia, and if the Lord is willing, in 8 days we will have our third daughter here in North Columbia. So I am committed to you. I am committed to this corridor, to this part of town, to continue to see this entrepreneurial spirit grow in this city. And I want to thank Chris Barzak for what he's done in this area. And I see Doug Aylard back there. I want to thank you for what you've done in others as well, and investing in this part of Columbia. And Councilman Davis is right. This is the next frontier. This is the next frontier in Columbia. We're committed to you, and thank you again for the opportunity to represent you on City Council. God bless you.
Thank you. And also there's some other person standing behind me and they're just not there for window dressing. First of all, I want to say that we're very proud of the work of the Office of Economic Development in the City of Columbia. And I have basically Ryan Coleman here, and we also have Mr. Cecil Hannibal here. And they do outstanding work. You know, the politicians can deal with the speech making and deal with the decision making from a policy perspective, but someone has to hit the ground and do the work. And these young men, along with their staff, they have done a tremendous job. Miss Tina Herbert standing back there in the back. All of the officials that work for the City of Columbia, Sam Johnson, I want to thank all of you for being here and showing the interest that you have in Small Business Week. Let's give them a big hand. And I'm going to take the liberty at this point to do one other thing, because I think you need to hear from business people. Just for a second, I'm going to ask Chris Barzak, and I'm going to ask the young lady from Carolina Imports.
Yeah. Don Miller.
and Don Miller to come up and just say a few words about what it means to own a business in the North Columbia area. Ladies first.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eva Bradley, owner of Carolina Imports, and I'm pleased to be in this area. I want to thank Chris behind us for introducing us to the possibilities here, and I also want to thank all of you for the warm reception we've received. Small business is a labor of love, sometimes more labor than love, but I can honestly say in this area, in this district, we have felt the love. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chris Barzak. I'm the owner of In the House Realty here in this building. Bought here about 7 years ago on North Main Street with the excitement of the opportunity up here in North Columbia. I've lived in Earlwood and Cottontown for about 15 years and care about the area, and excited to have people like Sabrina Odom that has worked so hard to make things more comfortable as a small business owner. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have y'all here.
Good morning. My name is Don Frey Miller, the owner of Superstar Pets, a 17-year business that has been located in the city of Forest Acres. When asked by Sabrina to speak today, my heart started fluttering. I'm not into speaking, but I'm in the pet business. But thank you all for having me here. One of the three things, or three most important things that have allowed us to be successful, has first and foremost been location. Secondly, we've built a lot of relationships and bonds over the years with our customer base. And thirdly, which I think in any profession, honesty. Location, the neighborhood has been very supportive of us. Over the years, we've built countless relationships that have been bonded on not just us providing a service, but knowing how to be of a service to individuals. The city, North Main Street area. I see that not only being the next frontier, but being the next business frontier. I've been knocking at the door. Sabrina has definitely cracked it open for me. But with your support, I know myself, as well as countless other businesses, will not only locate themselves here, but will grow and flourish, which is what we all should be one mind, one body in concern of. Thank you all very much.
At this time, I also want to introduce the past chair of the North Columbia Business Association. I'm not going to ask her to speak, but just to acknowledge by wave of the hand, Ms. Veronica Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez owns a business in the North Columbia business sector. And thank you for all that you've done in the last 2 years as the leader of the North Columbia Business Association. And along with all of the staff members of the North Columbia Business Association, we want to thank you all for the hard work that you do. The next person I'm going to bring up here, though, is a person who is full of energy. She's a person that we all love. She's a person that has spent tireless hours trying to make sure that all of the businesses in the North Columbia area and the neighborhoods, that we form an alliance, and that alliance is one that is moving this sector of the city and moving the city forward. I am deeply, deeply indebted as a member of the board and as her friend to the fact of saying that this young lady, without her, there would not be the progress that we've made at the North Columbia Business Association. I want to introduce to some and reacquaint the others, none other than Ms. Sabrina Odom, who is our executive director. Ms. Odom.
Thank you, Donald. Today we're going to talk about businesses because they have everything to do with NCBA. Like the rest of the world celebrating National Small Business Week, we are something of a crossroads where traditional development methods no longer provide the impact they once did, and we have to look to new ways of building our brand and businesses. NCBA is adopting creative ways to help with economic development and business development in our core business corner and community. And this is the first time I'm reading off a speech. I usually wing it, but The creative ways that we have adopted, I'm going to name a few. We will start with the rebranding. The rebranding of the business district in the process that the community adopts the name. Today is our rebranding with our pop-up coffee shop and bakery shop. If you will notice on the right of you, there's a sign up here say pop-up coffee shop. When you walk into Chris Barzak building, there will be a pop-up coffee shop in there that is running today. Also down the street, in the real estate building right by the trestle is North Main Street Bakery. They just pop up in there today. I want to make sure everyone, when they leave, tour the coffee shop that pop up and the North Main Bakery that pop up by the trestle building. Also, this young man, Don Miller, who's looking for a location on North Main, and I'm gonna make sure he finds a location on North Main. We put a sign at that building right there, the Trestle Pet Shop. It would go good with the Noma Dog Park over there. So I want y'all to keep him motivated and hope he finds a place to place his business, which is now one of his locations on Forest Drive. I'm trying to locate him over here. Also, NCBA will be working with codes, better and fairer codes for business owners. We will also be working with a tourist attraction along with the Bull Street project, but find the tourist attraction along North Main Street in North Columbia. And our last project is the Lens of North Columbia, coming to a theater near you. It's going to be a short film of the North Main business quarter, the ups and downs of business owners. In conclusion, NCBA says to you today, my friends, that in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the moment, we must create a new North Main in North Columbia, and we welcome the change. Let us move forward together with our united strength. Thank you, Mayor Benjamin, Councilman Sam Davis, and our chairman and board of the NCBA for all the support. Thank you.